Hey guys, I had a hard past couple of days and I've been trying to, today especially, get myself out of it, out of what I'm going through and how I'm feeling. And I don't have my mic on this camera, shoot. I hope you can still hear me. It's only within like the last hour that I've been trying to get myself out of it, to be honest. Before that I was just in such like a dark place that I wasn't trying to get out of it. I was just letting it like swallow me, you know? And since I've been trying to snap myself out of it, I've been having a hard time because I tried to sit down and write, kind of journal how I'm feeling, and also more so, sorry, I'm like, I can't really, like, it's been a really rough past over 48 hours now. And like I said, it's only been in like the last hour that I've been somehow able to at least tell myself to try to get out from under or try to get away from how I'm feeling. Honestly, just watch this video in 1.5 speed. I swear I'm like the fastest talker, but whenever I'm having a hard time like this, I talk so slow because my brain can't, just can't. You can come up here, you know. So yeah, so I tried that, I tried writing, and what tends to help me, or it almost like forces you to feel better. Not even to feel better, but to at least like get enough clarity for a second, because for me at least, when I'm feeling the way that I've been feeling and as low as I've been feeling, it's not me, it's not my normal way of thinking, it's not the way that my brain normally operates, it's the thought patterns and just everything about the way that my brain is working, I guess, is just like, it's just not me. So what helps me sort of get clarity for a second, there's fuzz everywhere, long enough to then sort of like put forth more effort, is usually writing down things that I'm grateful for, and just like, you know, things that I'm, oh my god, sorry, there's like fuzz everywhere, or cat hair or something. Things that I'm grateful for, and maybe things that I want to do in the future, ways that I can help in the future, just like good things, you know, things that like sort of instill and sort of like force out the feeling of hope. I'm using one of the batteries that when it dies my camera just shuts off and then it doesn't save the clip, so I'm like super hesitant about, is this gonna die and fuck me over? Let me check that really quick. Sort of forces you to feel hopeful, it just even for a second, just enough to sort of like get your head above water. It's sort of, what it sort of reminds me of is like, sometimes when you're so like psychologically fucked, you have to be maybe put on like a 72-hour hold or something, and be like given medication, while the goal isn't necessarily like, oh, you're gonna take this and you're gonna be on this the rest of your life, but it's like you're gonna take it until you can like stabilize your mood and whatever enough to be able to like personally make the choices to improve things and like work on your way of thinking. I don't know, it's just like sometimes forcing myself to think about, write down, say out loud like stuff I'm grateful for, and I don't know, it puts things not only into perspective, because I don't think I've necessarily like, I don't think when I'm in that dark of a place I've necessarily lost perspective. Maybe it feels that way, but I know that I'm blessed and I'm grateful for a lot of things, and like I have a purpose, there's a lot to look forward to, there's a lot, you know, I don't know, I know that still, but I guess it does sometimes, if you're not necessarily thinking about all of that, and even if you are reminding yourself of that, it's sort of just like, okay, shut the fuck up, like, yeah, I know, like, I'm grateful for this, and like, I'm wanting to do this in the future, and I love this person or whatever, but like, who fucking cares? Like, at this moment, I just don't want to exist, you know? So, it's hard. Anyway, my point in saying all this is, today writing was not working, like, at all. It almost was sort of making it worse, because I guess I tend to gravitate towards writing this stuff down when I'm in a dark place, and so for some reason the act of doing that again while I was already in a dark place just made it worse. Almost like it lost its touch of helping me, and it just sort of started like triggering all the other times that I've done that to cope with how I feel. I don't know, maybe I just was in too dark of a place for it to help, but it wasn't working. So I decided to talk out loud to myself. Which for some reason when I say that out loud I'm like, I sound crazy, but then I realize that's actually what I'm doing right now. But I, wasn't filming, I was just trying to talk out loud to myself, and like that was not working, and that was, I just wasn't doing it. Like I would start to talk and then I just like would shut down. So that wasn't working. And I decided maybe filming, or at least having a camera on and me talking out loud again, maybe that'll help me like get things out and be able to do what I was trying to do, for the past hour or two, which is like really like remind myself and like force myself to remember things I'm grateful for and all of that stuff that I just explained. Thought maybe this could help. And maybe I won't post this video. I actually started setting up my camera and stuff with the intention of like, I'm not going to post this video. I'm just gonna turn the camera on so that I'm more in that mode. It's almost like how, at least for me, and I think for a lot of people, like if I don't get dressed and ready in the morning, it feels like I can't be as productive, I'm not as productive, I'm less motivated. I've heard a lot of times people say like, oh, if you work from home, like when your shoes are, like keep your shoes on when you're working, and it'll help you like remember that like you're in work mode, or So who did I know? Someone that I knew, maybe it was in college, no, maybe, I don't know. Someone that I knew did this thing where they only wore this really weird looking hat. It was like almost like an Abraham Lincoln hat, but not like super tall. I don't know. They wore this weird hat whenever they were working because they worked from home. And like when that hat was on, they were in work mode. And I always thought like that was a really good idea. And honestly, I should start trying to implement that. Not with a hat necessarily, but there's gotta be something that like when you're wearing it, it's like this is work mode, I don't know. Anyway, I thought maybe this will sort of mirror that whole mindset of like, if I set up my camera and my light and I press record, then I'll be able to talk and say the things that I need to say and want to say, so that I can, not even like for someone to hear, but just so that like literally talking to myself, because I can't do this in my head. Like I definitely try. Like I think that came probably somewhere before writing is like in my head trying to remind myself, but that really doesn't work because my head, like that's just, it can turn real quick, and it does turn real quick. So not only are my thoughts move so much faster than I'm able to speak when they're in my head and they're not out. It's like I don't know where they're gonna go, and they're probably not gonna go to a great place. But when I'm talking, it doesn't really give me the chance for other thoughts and other trains of thoughts to creep in and destroy what I'm trying to do, which is instill some kind of hope in me and sort of like get my brain out of the mode that it's in right now. Because like I said, oh, hi little poops, hi Bugger. Probably can't see her, but Bug is laying on my feet right now. And then as I sat down, I was like, wait a second, no, I am gonna post this, because whether I do or don't, I need to be in the mindset that like that's what I'm doing. I don't know if that makes any sense, but kind of sucks. I mean, part of me telling you all of that was like, maybe that could help you if you're ever in like my situation. Not necessarily with like sitting down and filming a video, but also because lately I just really feel like I have to explain myself when I'm talking on, like when I'm posting a video of me talking about how I feel. I mean, I would say it's like 5% from the occasional comment that I get that are like, why are you sharing this online? I'm not the only one that does it, I don't know, but I think it's more so from a person in my life who thinks and tells me that if I talk about how I feel on camera, that I'm being a victim. Even though for every one video that I have that's like me just talking about how I feel like there's like 5+ videos that are upbeat and happy and vlogs or like something random. So I don't know. That's okay. I'm not gonna now be hard on myself for feeling like I wish I didn't have to explain this before I start talking, but because whatever, it is what it is. I haven't even started saying things that I'm grateful for, or I haven't even started doing that yet, and I'm already feeling a lot better just by sitting here and like literally just talking out loud. Because in a weird way, it does sort of give me a break from my thoughts when I'm talking. I don't know. I don't think they can move as fast. And when I'm talking really slow, it's kind of a sign that my thoughts are moving really, really fast. But yeah, I don't want this to be anything other than like, maybe this could help you. Maybe this can help you. Whether it be like something that I say also you're also grateful for and it helps you put things into perspective, or maybe you can take something from this. I don't know. I'm starting to get anxious, so let's well, I already was anxious, but I'm starting to get like really anxious, so I'm gonna start thinking and saying things that I'm grateful for or what have you. But I'm also gonna try not to think too much. I'm sorry if this is a shit show. I'm not trying to victimize myself. Okay, we all go through shit in life. If nothing else, like I said, maybe this can help you. And hopefully it'll help me get my head sort of above water, which, like I said, ever since I started talking, it really kind of has brought me like a little bit, I was gonna say down to reality or something, but also like a little bit above water. I don't know. We're in like lockdown right now, or stay-at-home order, whatever you want to call it. And something I was thinking about a couple days ago before I started feeling really, really dark and bad, was I started thinking like, damn, it's 9:30 and I wanted to go to the store and get some groceries and so that I could like bake something. And I realized that I couldn't because the stores here close at like 8 or 9 right now. Before I even really had a chance to be upset, I just thought like, whoa, like I'm really glad that aside from everything else and aside from the fact that like it's sad what's happening right now in the world, I was really glad and grateful that this didn't happen 3 months ago, 4 months ago, 5 months ago, when, I mean, all of December and half of November I was living in Airbnbs. I mean, even if this had happened last year, but especially like the second half of last year, if I had to be stuck at home at my old apartment, that would be so incredibly bad. I hated that place. It was terrible. It was disgusting. It was literally toxic. Like everything about it was just the worst. And I was just thinking like, I'm so glad that I have this space, which is so comfortable and clean and nice and safe and just so different. And I'm really grateful that I'm here now. And I also had like 2 months to settle in. Simple things like that, but it's really not even that simple because it was like, not only living in that old place was stressful and all of that, but like the 2 months of living between like different Airbnbs, I can't imagine, and living in my car sometimes, like I can't imagine how that would have been different and how that would have been impacted by all this. So I don't know, I just thought about that and I was like, damn, that's really cool. It goes without saying, and this is one constant reminder that I have. It's actually like one of the few things, maybe the only thing sometimes, like especially when I'm doing so bad like I had been the past couple days, the one thing that's like, it can't be ignored, that it's good and it's pure, is bug. And I think, I'm trying to think of something else like that would be like such a constant reassurance of like hope and comfort, whatever you want to call it. She's literally just the best, and I always think, like, probably once a day, I'm always like, what would I do if I didn't have Bug? Like, how did I exist before? How, like, things would be so fucking different if I didn't have her now. I don't know, she's just, like, the best thing ever. I guess I'll just say out loud some of the basic things that I always sort of run through in my head. Maybe think about some more, like, specific or, like, not so obvious things that I'm grateful for, but obviously my family and my nieces, like, holy shit, my nieces will always and forever be, like, but sometimes the main thing and the only thing that can, like, make me want to exist. So that's why I got this tattoo. It's all of their initials. And my sisters. I have the best older sisters. I'm grateful that I have a refrigerator, which kind of goes along with the first thing, which is, like, if I was on stay-at-home order at my old place, it would be so hard because I didn't have, like, a working fridge. And so I don't know, the fridge that I have right now is just, like, it's literally just a fridge, but, like, holy shit, I love that fridge, you know. Also, my wall AC unit, that's hella loud. I'm so grateful for it. And I'm so grateful for water and, like, hot water. Like, last night I cried harder than I can't remember the last time I cried that hard. I'm sure it was probably, like, in 2018. Which might sound random, but, like, that was a rough time. But I cried really hard last night, and then I walked back to my apartment and I took, like, a really hot shower. Super grateful for that, you know? And that's also probably why my face is puffy. Yeah, it was a really hard cry with, like, probably lots of, like, disturbing noises. I don't know. Also, grateful for crying because you always feel better after. I mean, maybe not always, but it certainly, especially after a period of being under a lot of stress or pain or whatever it is, and not crying during that time because you're so maybe in survival mode. I don't know. This tends to happen with me a lot recently, or I would say probably in the past year. Before that, I've always been, like, someone who could cry really easily and would cry, like, often. But for some reason I sort of switched into this, like, when I'm going through really hard things, even if it's for, like, a month, like, I won't be able to cry, even if it's, like, the most painful thing ever. And then when I finally do cry, it's like it's literally releasing. I mean, I think there is something to that. There's some sort of chemical that's released when you cry. But yeah, I cried last night, and I don't know when I cried last before then. And I mean, now that I'm saying that out loud, I don't know if I actually did feel better after, but I did get really sleepy. I'm sure I did feel better, I don't know, but it can't hurt. After I stop talking to you guys, I think I'm gonna go to this park lake thing that's nearby and walk around, and I know that's probably gonna help a lot with clearing my head. I've been doing that recently since everything's been going on in the world, and it's helped a lot. Like, I'll go at, like, 5 p.m. after I've been working for, like, maybe, like, 6 hours, and it helps me with ideas, it helps me be more creative, it helps me sort of, like, I don't know, just, like, refresh, renew, get perspective, clarity, all of that. And so I'm glad that I have the ability to do that. I'm glad that I'm not, you know, injured so I can't walk, or I mean, I'm glad I can see and smell and hear, and fucking that all in itself is amazing. But yeah, being able to walk around, and I swear, something about, like, seeing, well, I guess any animal. I just have a really weak spot for all animals, but this park lake has tons of ducks and geese and birds, and they're freaking everywhere, and squirrels, and they're just so funny and cute, and I just love looking at birds. It's great. It's a great time. I put in some laundry before I filmed this and took out my trash, and both of those things made me feel really good and accomplished. I don't know why. I mean, I guess they didn't make me feel good. Well, maybe they did. I don't know. It was like, okay, I don't want to exist, but I just took my trash out, so clearly I care enough to not leave a bag of trash by my door. And yeah, I have to go switch my laundry after this, but I got it in there, you know? I don't know if that's something I'm grateful for. That's more of just like a, yeah, I did that, so I should feel good, you know? I love candles, man. Candles cannot go wrong. I got like 2 new candles the other day, and they smell so good. One of them's like matcha. Chef's kiss. There are so many things. I feel like I could literally list a million things that I'm grateful for, but I'm trying to find or focus on something that's relevant to right now and like might help me more than just being like, I'm grateful for shoes so that my feet are protected, which like is great. I am grateful for shoes, but I deactivated both my Twitter and my Instagram last night because last night was bad. To be honest, I like didn't want to exist, and so I don't know, I thought like, okay, well, let me just not exist on social media. So I deactivated them. And then this morning, I checked my email. I'm grateful for people, strangers that are kind, like the kindness of strangers, like people that have never met me. I'm grateful that there are people out there, and I mean, this isn't like necessarily new. Like I've gotten so many nice messages from people, and it like every time I read one, it like makes me feel, it like restores my faith in humanity. And specifically talking about like right now in my situation, I'm really grateful that people were asking if I was okay and sending me the nicest words, like people that I've literally never met, and just happened to notice that like I wasn't on Instagram or Twitter anymore when you search me or whatever. And it's just like the nicest things that sometimes, I mean, it's so crazy, like the juxtaposition between comments online. It's like some of them are just so, there's some mean comments that are just like, okay, that doesn't make sense, and it's just like mean. But there's some that are so like cruel and like targeted, and then the ones that are supportive and nice, it's just crazy how different people can be. I don't think I've ever left a comment that was mean. Like I just won't say anything if I see something. I don't know. It's just when I get nice messages, it's like, okay, not only are there like nice people that care, but like it's weirdly like reassuring to know that people out there think similarly to me in whatever way it is. Because I really like, I'm someone who always has liked making people feel good and special. I was always the friend to like bring a balloon and a cake to school for all my friends on their birthdays, and I would always write, like for every freaking holiday, anything, I would write cards to all my family and friends and make presents or whatever. Like I just always wanted people to feel special. I always try to make my friends' birthdays like amazing, you know. I don't know, because I think it's important, and obviously I think they deserve it, and I think that I mean, why wouldn't I want the person or people that I care a lot about or love to feel special or happy or loved or whatever? So I've always been sort of that person, and I'll reach out to people if I see them going through hard times. Keep up with people in my life who I know are going through hard stuff and whatever. Like that is the person that I have been since I was little. My dad would always say, well, actually, when I was younger, we had this mishler family journal, and it was like for 1 week I got to have the journal and write in it, and then the next week my sister would have it, and then my dad, and then my other sister, and then we would, you know, and we could all read it whenever, and we'd sort of just journal instead of like a personal journal that was just mine, like it was like for the whole family. And I remember a couple years ago like finding it under my bed with a bunch of other stuff like that, and reading something that my dad wrote that said like, keep trying to get JoJo, which is what he calls me, keep trying to get JoJo. I was like 6 years old, I think, in 2000, yeah. And keep trying to get JoJo to prank Katie and Amanda with me, who are 2 of my older sisters. He would try to get me to like prank them or, you know, scare them, whatever, like just do things to mess with them, because that's how my dad is. Like he always would prank us and whatever. And he said, keep trying to get JoJo to prank Katie and Amanda, but she doesn't want to hurt their feelings, and whenever I ask her to do X, Y, or Z, she'll cry and say that she doesn't want Amanda to feel sad or to feel scared or to feel whatever. He wrote something about, I should have, next time I go home, I want to like take pictures of that. He said something about how like he hopes that I grow out of my sensitivity and my empathy or something like that. And it's just funny because I totally never did. I honestly think it gets like more intense with age. But the point of that is like when I get messages from people that I could see myself sending to someone that I care about, I don't typically comment on like social media stuff, but like in my real life, I send a text to someone that I know, and if I get a message from someone and it's something that like I know that I would say to someone, or I could see myself saying to someone, it makes me feel comforted in a way to know that there's other people that are similar to me, that like feel a lot for other people and don't want to comment something or say something that's just gonna make an already bad situation worse, or it's just unnecessary. I don't know. So anyway, I'm grateful for like kind strangers and people who are caring, and specifically the emails that I got this morning from people. But all the time, I don't know. I feel like I've been talking for a long time now, and I want to go over to the park and get some fresh air before it closes, which it closes at sunset, which is in like an hour. I think this served its purpose, for me at least, selfishly. I don't know if I helped you, but I do feel like I've sort of like stepped outside of my brain a little bit, at least in the current state, or the state that I was in the past few days, which just hasn't felt like me. I don't feel super happy and like myself necessarily again, but I definitely feel like this helped me for sure. And maybe now I can write, you know, or talk out loud to myself, and it'll be helpful. I don't know. And ultimately, I'm also grateful for times like this, times like the state that I've been in the past couple days, and all hard times, all of the hardships in life, because like, damn, I don't know. It's scary to think about what kind of person I would be or who I would be if I hadn't gone through certain things. Or, I mean, it really is like in the darkness and in the bad times that you grow the most. So I'm grateful for like everything that has ever been hard, honestly. I don't know if y'all made it to the end. Okay, I'm gonna go now.